Bleacher Report has said that George Pickens is the Pittsburgh Steelers' #1 wide receiver, and there's no reason why he should not explode for amazing production of over 1,000 yards next season. So, George Pickens, he's heading into his second season alongside Kenny Pickett, and here's what Bleacher Report had to say. Here's the quote. Pickens' totals should increase across the board since he has more chemistry with Pickett and had a full offseason to grow into his role in the NFL. Pickens' goal should be recording a 1,000-yard season, and there should be no reason why he shouldn't be able to complete it. He should be a top receiving yard total in the NFL if he improves significantly. His minimum goal should be over to take that #1 spot from Diontae Johnson and become the go-to guy for the Pittsburgh Steelers inside the offense. So that's one quote from a Bleacher Report article. And then another article from Christopher Knox said that George Pickens is the NFL's most underrated receiver in the league. He went on to name 3 guys, but George Pickens was one of it. Here's his quote. If Pickett can make a second-year leap, which seems reasonable given his strong play down the stretch in 2022, Pickens could be set to explode. It would be a surprise if Pickens doesn't have a 1,000-yard season. So, that's 2 people from Bleacher Report saying that George Pickens is set to explode and a 1,000-yard season is inbound. So now it's up to George Pickens and Kenny Pickett to make it happen alongside Matt Canada calling the plays to get him more involved in the offense. So now I want to address those 2 quotes because he mentioned yards for the season, but he also mentioned #1 wide receiver. And when we look at the #1 wide receiver, it was clear that Diontae Johnson was listed as the #1 wide receiver for the Pittsburgh Steelers because he's been there longer and he just gets more targets. But when you look strictly at the numbers, even though Diontae Johnson had 147 targets and is clearly the better route runner than Pickens, so he was targeted more, the results were much closer to George Pickens being the #1 wide receiver if you're looking at just the stats, because Johnson posted 86 receptions for 882 yards and 0 touchdowns, while Pickens, he caught 52 passes for 801 yards and 4 touchdowns, and another one coming from the ground. So based off straight numbers, like the stats, yes, George Pickens is right up there, but just looking at the targets, because that's what matters most as a #1 wide receiver. You could have the stats, but as long as you don't get targeted as much, you're not really a #1 wide receiver. And it all depends on the quarterback too. Just because you're listed as a #1 wide receiver doesn't mean you're actually the #1 wide receiver. For example, if a quarterback is going to target you less than the other guy who's listed as a #2 wide receiver on the team, then that guy's their go-to wide receiver. So even though you're listed on the depth chart as a #1 guy on the team, it all depends if the quarterback targets you or not. And it was clear that Diontae Johnson was the #1 because he was targeted more, but based off production, he was neck to neck with George Pickens. And even Pat Freiermuth got a lot of targets as well, but Diontae Johnson was the clear go-to guy for Kenny Pickett because there would be some times where George Pickens wouldn't even get a target in a whole half or even 3/4 of the game, and then the 4th quarter comes, and that's where all of his targets come. So it was clear Diontae Johnson was the go-to guy for Pickett in his rookie season, and it makes sense because, like I said, he is a better route runner, so he was open more of the time. And as a rookie, you're going to go to the guy who's open. You're not going to waste as much time kind of reading the field because you don't want to make a mistake and you're still getting used to the game. So the guy that's open, that's your first read, and you're going to go to him. And that's why sometimes George Pickens wouldn't even get the ball thrown his way. So even though George Pickens, he may not surpass Johnson from a targets and reception standpoint in 2023, he could do it by yards and touchdowns because he was a league best last season. He was at top of the league with averaging 15.4 yards per reception and 9.5 yards per target. Diontae Johnson was always a guy who's going to be throwing the short pass, and hopefully he could run and turn it into a big gain. But George Pickens, he gets more of the deep balls. He he gets more of the one-on-one opportunities, because that 50-50 ball that you throw up there, it's more like a 75-25 ball whenever you throw it to George Pickens. Whenever you throw that ball into a contested catch situation, you just expect that George Pickens, he's going to high point the ball and he's going to come down with it. He has such strong hands for a rookie, one of the best in the league in securing those catches in that tough situation, being able to get his feet down inbounds as well. We've seen all the amazing catches he has made in his rookie season, and he's only going to get better, and he's only going to build that more trust with Kenny Pickett to get even more 50-50 chance, which is actually a 75-25 chance with George Pickens. The deep ball, the only other guy on the team who even got more deep balls was like Deontay Johnson, but he is a smaller receiver, so he would have to beat his man off the line. He's not that guy who's just going to jump up and grab it over the defender, so he's not going to get as much of those opportunities unless it's like a back shoulder opportunity. Yes, the Steelers have added more guys like Calvin Austin. He could run past people, so he may get more deep balls in the middle of the field and stuff like that if he gets behind a cornerback or behind a safety. Even Terrell Austin, if he gets behind a guy, he's 6'7", he could go up there, catch the ball now. Pat Freiermuth, he's a bigger tight end, one-on-one opportunities, but George Pickens, he's shown that he's able to do it and do it at a high level in this league. Just a rookie and now heading into a sophomore season, so more opportunities hopefully to come in that area for him. And based off the articles and the reports saying that there should be no reason why he shouldn't get a 1,000-yard season and kind of become the number one wide receiver, I totally agree with it. If the offense for the Steelers improves even slightly, even like 15% better than last season, we've seen how terrible it was at the beginning half of the year, especially throwing the ball. The second half, they're facing much easier teams, so their offense was much better, and the production, throwing the ball, running the ball, it was really there. So if the offense even succeeds or improves even a little bit better, George Pickens, he should get much more opportunities, and the Steelers team should be on the field longer, leading to more targets, leading to more receptions, leading to more touchdowns. So if the offense improves, he had 800 yards this past season, there should be no reason why the goal and him should be not getting 1,000 yards. He should really be able to do that. And even Deontay Johnson, there should be no reason why they shouldn't have 2,000-yard wide receivers, with Deontay Johnson's touchdowns going drastically up from the 0, that outlier he had with 0 last season. If the offense improves, those two guys, look for a big year from them, even alongside Pat Freiermuth. If he doesn't split as much time with Terrell Austin, if he still gets the playing time with Terrell Austin on the team now, his production should go up a lot, because George Pickens, Deontay Johnson, even though they're the Kenny Pickett's go-to guy, Pat Freiermuth in those tough situations, he was also a go-to guy and a safety blanket for Kenny Pickett. So the Steelers offense is young, they improved the offensive line. Kenny Pickett should have more time to throw the ball, lean to more throw attempts down the field and deep down the field, using the middle of the field and the deep corners as well. So watch out for a big year from the Steelers offense and these potential star players on the team having a breakout season. So with that being said, let me know down in the comments below. How do you feel about these articles saying that George Pickens will become the Steelers' number one wide receiver and have over 1,000 yards this season? Do you believe that he will, or do you believe that Deontay Johnson will still be the number one wide receiver? Do you believe that George Pickens won't get 1,000 yards? Let me know your thoughts on the Steelers' offense going into this NFL season. If you want me to cover a certain topic or a certain player going into this next season, let me know who that is and what the topic is as well, and I'll try to make that happen. Also, don't forget to subscribe to the channel as well if you like Steelers content analysis reports. Like the video, turn on post notifications down below for this channel as well, so you get notified whenever I post the next Steelers video. I post everything Steelers, so click the bell down below so you never miss out. I covered all the offseason, everything in the offseason, from the draft, free agents, trades, all the new people, undrafted guys, all their introductions, what they're going to bring to the team are on the channel. Go ahead and watch it. And everything moving forward to the preseason, regular season, playoffs, repeating the whole cycle again, I'm covering all. This is the best place for Steelers news. So like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys all later. Till next time, I'm out. Peace.